It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have a new discussion, reaction type video titled This Isn't Quality of Life Dead by Daylight from JCGlitchhmaster. The original video will be linked in the description so you can watch the full video on your own. But we'll be covering a couple of points and I'll be giving my thoughts on it as we go along. So let's jump right in.
It's been this way basically the whole game's lifespan from what I can gather as well, so it's not a recent thing. So that begs the question, why hasn't DBD died when basically any other game in the same point would have died? Well, it's simple. It has no competition. There is no game that holds any threat to DBD in the PvP asim genre at the moment, and there never has been, with the exception of maybe Friday the 13th.
That is an extremely valid point that JCGlitchhmaster is really presenting here, because we really haven't had much of a massive competitor, despite that people bring up like I think there was one asim that had to do with like bunnies or something like that. I forgot what that was called. And Identity V I've heard recently. But I don't think that it even has even remotely close to the same popularity as Dead by Daylight does, or even close to the same amount of players. Even just judging by the content that I've even seen from that game, just seems like it's a very low amount of popularity and a very small community from just the little bit that I've seen. Now obviously that could be untrue. There probably could be like a million, that like millions of people on there for all I know, but I've never played it, so I wouldn't be able to tell. The other aspect I would say is that the difference between what we had with Killer Clowns and what we've had even with the Friday the 13th game, and I wouldn't say Texas Chainsaw because you actually could choose to be Leatherface if you wanted, but regardless, from these other asims that I have to say, you don't really have the option to play as the main draw of the game without it being randomly selected, randomly chosen, and you don't have the option to queue as the character you want to queue as, and you have to hope that you can play as, say, Jason, or play as the clowns in that instance, if I'm not mistaken. And I even seen that with Dragon Ball Z. They had their own asymmetrical game, and it had the same thing. Like, this was my personal issue with the asim genre, was the fact that I wanted to play as, if it was Dragon Ball, I wanted to play Majin Buu, or I wanted to play Vegeta, or I wanted to go on Friday the 13th to play as Jason, or I want to go on to Killer Clowns to play the clowns. Like, that's what I'm there to do, but I'm forced to queue as the people running away, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I came in here to play as the character I care about, not random number 5. Like, that's really not what I'm here for. And so that, I think, is what draws people into DBD as a whole, at least some people. And the option as well to have all the characters that don't actually have any games out, that don't not have any other asymmetrical options, like Chucky, Freddy, Myers currently before the release of the game, and even well, I wouldn't say go like Scream, because it's not a Scream license, but it's a mask license, so you could pretend it's Ghostface even though it's not really like from the franchise or whatever. Regardless, that is another aspect I think that holds DBD in this spot where they're kind of untouchable at the moment without any competition, and usually without competition it leads to a lot of stagnation, and it leads to a much less good quality product, and that's unfortunately where we're at with Dead by Daylight. Yeah, and then of course let's not even forget that the devs for these asymmetrical games are constantly just incredibly entitled, just ridiculous, like with the things in their game, and they don't take feedback, which is not great. Now, Behavior is in a similar boat in that sense, but because like the grass is even less greener Then the yellowed grass we already have, we kind of just stay in the lawn. We don't really want to leave because we know that the grass doesn't even exist in the other games. They know that it's just a mound of dirt because there's nothing growing. But at least with DBD, you know, the grass is yellowed and dry, but at least you know there is grass. And that is probably the best way I could describe the DBD experience.
The same morons who have a part in making the upcoming Halloween game.
And that, thank you, JCGlitchhmaster. This is exactly why I have been concerned for this game's release. And I've spoken about it in a previous video on the channel, but yeah, I'm a bit concerned because it's these two names on the damn game. Like, great.
Fully voice acted by the original person for less than half the price in Dead by Daylight. This basically distracted everyone from the sad state of the...
I have to give a lot of credit to Matthew Cote for being able to cut these deals, honestly. Like, that in itself is a skill, to be able to create that level of comfort and to be able to create that level of confidence and to get that stamp of approval from even the most like super like I would say not safe, but like very tight with how they hold their IPs, especially like Scott Cawthon, I think that's how you pronounce it, for Five Nights at Freddy's, who has recently came out and said like that he is not going to license out FNAF really to anybody, and it's very, very specific. Doesn't care how much money is being sent in. It's like, no, I'm going to hold on to this. I want it to go where I want it to go, and directly said that go to DBD. Like, DBD is going to do you right, like in that sense, when it comes down to how they do their licensing and how they cut their deals. And to get that stamp of approval, I gotta hand it to them. We got good people that run the licensing. We got good people that can do that. And that's obviously, you know, how it's sort of come to be in the recent years. Now, unfortunately, when we're looking at, you know, obviously Myers and Freddy and the mask license for the Ghostface mask and stuff like that, it's a little lackluster, but you know, those characters unfortunately came out pretty early in, so you know, and they are probably not going to be renegotiated by any means, or even they're probably not even going to add any cosmetics or anything at all. But at least we know with the new licenses coming in, they'll be represented in a good way, and we can at least be happy about that.
Game. This was until recently, that is, with the main catalyst being the Walking Dead update. This is because it was yet another patch which was borderline unplayable from how broken it was. Then we had the dumpster fire of a live stream where they decided to cancel it because they couldn't finish a single mark after ignoring Gotstava because it kept getting DDoS. This was the breaking point, a series of disasters so insane not even behavior could ignore it. We all wanted behavior to slow down the content updates for a bit just to actually fix the game. So behavior listened, but they decided to do it not in the way that we asked. We just wanted the content to, you know, work. Instead, they have delayed future content patches for 4 months so we can have a quality of life initiative for our quality of life initiative.
We've made the decision to move the release of this licensed chapter content from November to January, and to merge it with the mid-chapter release that we have in January.
However, this now has the issue of we don't have our content, which is the only thing that was distracting us from the god-awful balance and keeping this game interesting from patch to patch, so behavior's quality of life needs to be really great to make up for the fact that we're not getting content.
Now, that's kind of the issue. I have to agree with JCGlitchhmaster on this. Like, there is very small updates that are being actually added into this game. Like, we've seen pretty much a Krasue nerf. That was about it. I mean, that was probably the most notable thing. They decided to revert off the record, which was a pretty bad change, but it is what it is. And we're not seeing anything substantial. We're not seeing anything yet. Like, Myers is still in a bad spot. Like, there's still a lot of characters that overall haven't been touched, a lot of the bugs haven't been fixed. They are fixing other stuff that, honestly, I didn't even know existed. When you do read the patch notes for the recent bug fix, there were stuff in the game I didn't even know were bugged in the first place. So I'm like, hey, at least they're fixing something. But I think there's a lot of bugs that are pretty notable that haven't even been looked at yet. Apparently there's a bug where like your frame rate can drop pretty heavily when going toward the exit gate. I've noticed that. I've also seen Springtrap having a weird camera issue when he's going through the doors. So like the camera's like looking at the floor when he goes through the security room. I don't know if that's like super common or what that's about, but I've seen that like on 2 different videos when I was just looking at different DBD content. So I don't know if that's like been patched yet. Probably hasn't, but yeah, I don't know.
Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no.
Now, the recent patch shows that me and Behaviour have very different ideas on what quality of life is. Quality of life is something that improves the gameplay without having a negative effect for one side. For example, automatically recovering on the floor as a survivor. This improves the experience for survivor, and yet as a killer, you will never notice it as a mechanic negatively affecting your gameplay. You have improved the gameplay without affecting the balance. Now, I've already done a video on the patch, but it's been out a couple of weeks, so we've really had time to digest it. And all I can say is, the game is just miserable to play. In fact, it's so...
Yeah, I've heard this a lot. I've covered videos previously, which I can link one of them in the end of the video, but I've heard many creators say this. I have experienced it myself, especially on stream. The game is miserable to play. Yeah, 100%. Like the issues that we've already had that I've been talking about for months now are still in the game. I've spoken about gen speed being ridiculous, the healing meta is ridiculous, the exhaustion meta is ridiculous, and it's gone only buffed in this recent patches because of course we even got ghost notes that it decreases the duration of exhaustion even more. So you're having Vigil be 66% with ghost notes 76% exhaustion recovery, by the way. So why on earth is that in the game? I don't know. Why Behavior thinks that overbuffing Survivor is the solution, I don't know. They decided to add in a pallet density update. No idea why. I really don't understand like how anybody in their right mind can say that this game is killer-sided, which mind-blowing. Like, absolutely mind-blowing. I really don't understand how any of this works. Like, there are people that are still genuinely making videos, and they are genuinely saying with the confidence that this game is somehow favored to killer. When 76% exhaustion recovery exists, when healing speeds are 4 seconds under hook, when maps have double to triple the amount of pallets they used to have, for the latest killer to get nerfed, rightfully so, but still to get nerfed like crazy, for them to give Springtrap an increased footstep audio for some reason, like, are we being so for real? Like, huh? For Myers to get completely nerfed to the ground with their update that they decided to give him, he's completely garbage to play now. I played, I think 5 matches with him, and I've tried different add-ons, but it just feels like absolute dog shit to play. Like, what are we talking about?
Miserable. I've actually quit out of 2 matches the past 2 streams while trying to play as killer because I just couldn't be bothered dealing with the bullshit. Anywhere you can link either I'm not playing this map, I'm sorry guys. Not doing it. You know, I'm just gonna take that as an omen. That's 4 back-to-back stupendously survivor-sided maps. I'm not in the mood. This map is just actually miserable. Oh. I just want to play killer and not play a stupendously survivor-sided map. Is that too much to ask?
Thank you, JCGlitchhmaster, for bringing this up. Now, I want to preface also that JCGlitchhmaster has directly said that they are actually a survivor main that plays killer for fun. So, I have to say, I trust JCGlitchhmaster's perspective a lot more because they're willing to call out how ridiculous that the survivor stuff can really be, while still being able to play that side as well and enjoy it. Like, I think that to me says a lot, especially because he does play killer. So the takes that we're gonna hear are usually going to be the most varied perspective we can get. And I try to hold up to that standard as well when talking about these topics, because I try to engage in content that has different perspectives than my own, and to try to see if there's any evidence to really kind of stand by and to prove what they're trying to say. And as we're seeing here, I mean, Springwood historically survivor-sided, the game historically survivor-sided, and that's the maps we're getting. Like that, we're getting a bunch of the maps that they've added a bunch of pallets to already boosted. And as you guys know, like, I've been playing mainly Ghostface, like within like these recent sort of patches as well, like mainly. And it has been rough. Like, it really has been rough. Like, I've been trying to experiment around and trying to find like builds that can work against this stuff. But, you know, pallet density is such a powerful thing. Like, it's you know, especially with a character like Ghostface that doesn't have any way to stop the pallet from dropping, or to be able to work around the pallet with any dashing or anything. Like, so it's just pure M1 and you're having to hope that they make a mistake. That is unfortunately how it works, and they won't really make any mistake. They don't have room to make mistakes if their next pallet is 2 feet away from the last one. So it, like I've stated in the previous video, like, it really isn't a quality of life update. It's just a killer nerf with the coding that it's a quality of life, but the only quality of life that's being improved is the one side. And then there was nothing on the other side to compensate. So it's like, what are we talking about?
Bear in mind, I've not done this since. Thinking about it, I can't actually remember the last time I DC'd a match. It's been that long. Both times have had to do with map fatigue, which ties directly into the quality of life. In the last patch, they decided to do a change where they increased the pallet density in 10 realms and then called it a quality of life change. Now, in a recent video, I went over it a bit, but it's so much worse than I thought, so we're going to go over it again. See, I mainly play Survivor, but recently I've been enjoying Tuft of Hair Myers, so I've been playing quite a lot of Killer since the patch. If you actually try to play Killer now, it's miserable. All these realms are now you just kicking pallets all game because they've spawned a million of them all connecting. And I've seen people saying they're 50-50s. First of all, no the fuck they aren't. A lot of them are safe in that you need to win multiple 50-50s as Killer to get the hit. Second, a 50-50 is only a 50-50 if it's on its own.
Thank you, JCGlitchhmaster, because when I had spoke about this palette update in a previous video, and for those of you who also watch the shorts content on the channel, you've also seen my recent post talking about this. We've gotten comments saying, oh, but like literally that, oh, it's just, they're just like trash palettes, so it doesn't matter. It's like, no, it's the amount. It's not the strength of the palette by itself, because anybody who has more than 2 brain cells to rub together are going to either run around that pallet, not drop it, then chain to the next one, then use that, and then go to another one, and then chain that, and then go around to another one. All because they're all connected. So regardless of it being a 50-50 on that one single pallet, the other one is still connected, so then it becomes a full loop that they can just use whenever they want. And you're just screwed, I guess, because it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, they are completely safe no matter what. And I'm glad that JCGlitchhmaster brings it up. I'm bringing it up myself. I have a clip that I want to use that I'm going to show you guys that I've actually gotten on stream, so you guys can see for yourselves what I'm talking about. Oh shit. Live? Yeah, live. Change the new filler. That's another filler there too. If I have to break that, it's the god pallet. Alright, another filler there. He drops that as well. Hold forward again. Another filler. New filler there. Vault. So that right there is my point when I'm talking about the pallet amount. As you can probably tell from that clip, the bill was on one side of the map, dropped 5 different pallets all in a straight line, just ran from one to the other to the other to the other. And then when he finally had to stop and actually loop, he just gets down instantly. But unfortunately, that's what behavior is trying to balance for. Not people that actually understand how to play the goddamn game. It's the bill that's running around and pressing spacebar. Like, this is exactly the issue.
If a 50-50 connects into windows, TLs, jungle gyms, and other 50-50s, then it's no longer a fucking 50-50 because you have fallbacks onto other tiles. When you have shack, pallet, and window directly connecting into other tiles, you take the shack, which is already one of the strongest tiles in the game, and increase its power tenfold because now you never need to throw shack pallet, you can just fall back to the 14 fillers that surround it.
Thank you, JCGlitchhmaster, for providing an example as well that I was trying to point out. With Zancian Tactics, so you can actually see where each pallet is in the map.
Remind, these aren't maps they've changed. No, these are realms. 10 realms were changed, which means 28 maps have had this change. 28.
What? 28 maps with double to triple the pallets. Makes a lot of sense, behavior, sure. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say to that. I mean, the proof is in the pudding at that point. Like, it's already been proven right that alone. So I just don't understand how anybody can say that this game is killer-sided at this point. Like, we had patch after patch after patch after patch just proving like exactly why we say the game is favoring Survivor. Like, we have the evidence within this. 28 maps have just been completely unplayable now because of that, which is ridiculous.
The fuck? I thought you'd like it.
There are currently 44 maps in rotation, meaning that 64% of the maps have been turned into pallet-rich environments. Even maps that made no sense, like Crotus Asylum, which desperately needed survivor nerfs because of how miserable they were to play on, got pallet buffs. On top of this, existing maps that were already borderline unplayable on killer due to their balance, such as Eyrie of Crows, Springwood, Garden of Joy, and Gideon Meat Plant, bottom of the barrel dog shit design, have remained completely untouched despite community outroar for years. The end result is playing any killer right now is absolutely exhausting, like mind-numbingly exhausting. For killers, there's only about 5 maps left that are actually fun to play on, so you try playing killer and you're just getting back to back to back to back blatantly surviving.
The crazy part is, when I've been playing recently, every single map that he's been showing right here is exactly the maps I've been seeing. Springwood, Forest, like the freaking Chapel map, the freaking Toba, Springwood, like the Chapel one, yeah, like all of them. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, get me out of here, dude. Like, every single one of these maps are completely dog shit. Like, I don't understand, dude. It's just so terrible.
Sided map. Whoever at your studio greenlit this change needs to be banned from ever touching map balance again and forced to do 1v1 ladders on stream every weekend for the next year, because this is actually fucking miserable. I've not been this miserable trying to play killer in my entire life on this game, and I mainly play survivor, so why do I care? Well, this means that every time I play survivor, everyone is just playing the strong killers like Blight, Nurse, Krasue, and Ghoul, because if you don't, you can't compete and there's no gameplay to be.
That right there is exactly what the point I was trying to make when it came down to not only buffing up the lower tiers, but also talking about the survivor overabundance of survivor buffing that we keep seeing, is that it leads to this situation that JCGlitchhmaster is presenting for us. The fact of the matter is, you keep on buffing the survivor over and over and over. A lot of players are just going to be like, I don't want to keep stressing myself out trying to play Ghostface, Skull Merchant, Trapper, whatever low tier. I don't want to have to continue to do that. Now I'm going to pick Kaneki. Now I'm going to pick Blight. Now I'm going to pick Nurse. Now I'm going to pick Spirit and Dracula and everybody else that is better. and then it makes the survivor experience worse, and then it leads back to more complaining, which leads to more nerfing, which doesn't affect the high tiers, only affects the bottom tiers, the mid tier maybe, and then it continues to keep cycling. And it's because of that that main problem that they keep over buffing and over favoring the damn survivor end and not compensating killer to keep up. This is exactly what I've been trying to say with these changes for so long. And I'm glad that we have confirmation from somebody who mains survivor to say this is happening. But that is going to be the end of the video for today. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments section. Check out the original video linked in the description from JCGlitchhmaster. Also consider supporting the channel with the links in the description. And also, if you're on mobile, use that hype feature that YouTube added, man. Hype up the videos. But with that being said, appreciate you guys being here. Stay tuned for all the Patreon members, the Twitch sub, and YouTube members' names. If you want to have your name read off at the end of the videos, make sure you join. I'll see you guys in the next one. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Crow King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, HexDev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica 2002, Final Girl _ Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns 117 _ Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazabu, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video, make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.